Hello.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Game Time. I'm currently coming to you from a hotel in Northern California. I've got my, what do you call this? The Blue Yeti mic that I'm using. I got the camera set up, a little small desk that I can use here, and a couple of traveling ring lights. So I'm going to do the best I can, but I can't do it alone because we've got a lot to talk about here at NFL Week 8. We've got to talk about the trade deadline, talk about James Harden trade, and will these Rangers actually hold their 2-1 lead here in the World Series? So a lot to get into for sure, and I can't do it alone. So please welcome to the show the master of disaster, the king of sting, the leader of the swag movement, for God's sakes, SWAG. It is Winston A. Marsha, who is glowing today from his Cowboys victory over those Rams. How are you, Winston?
How about them Texas Rangers? Let's go. The Cowboys are cool too, whatever.
Whatever, yeah. Yeah, fantastic stuff, Winston. How are you feeling this morning? I mean, Dak Prescott looking once again like a Super Bowl caliber quarterback against the LA Rams. These Cowboys just looking like all of a sudden everybody's talking about them again. Listen to all the sports shows yesterday. They were all talking about, do we need to reassess Dak Prescott again? It's crazy. How do you deal with it?
Well, so here's the problem, man. Dak really is Tony Romo 2.0 in the sense that, no, I'm dead serious. The man has so much talent, and he can show it to you on any given Sunday. The question truly becomes right. The question just truly becomes in those moments when it matters the most, like step up. And to be honest with you, a lot of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks, it's a lot of this. It's you either get it early out of the gate because it's a rookie contract, so
it's
quarterback
true.
contracts being so expensive, you can do it, or it just takes time, and then you're able to kind of play around with it, and they have to evolve and get to that point. And it's a possibility that he's ready. Like, again, the talent has always been there. It's just can he keep the poise in these clutch moments? And if there was ever a season to do it, there is truly, and it was proven this weekend, there are no great teams in the NFL. There are none. There are a bunch of very good ones, and they all have problems. Every single one of them. There is not a great team here. So if there was ever a point to try and take it, this is it.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly this weekend. Well, actually, Winston, we've been feeling this way for the last 3 weeks, slowly but surely, right? Because initially we were like, it's got to be the Eagles. It's got to be the 49ers. The Cowboys look like world beaters. Miami looks unstoppable. All the first 5 weeks of the season, we were feeling that way. But over the last 3 weeks, I think you're absolutely 100% right. The Eagles, even with their 7-1 record, have shown a lot of issues on defense, especially when they play the Commanders. And Jalen Hurts now injured. We're not sure what we're going to get from him going forward with the big game coming up against your Cowboys.
It's not even that, bro. Like, I mean, that's part of it. But Jalen Hurts leads the league in turnovers.
Yeah, true. Very true. Yeah.
He's lucky right now that hasn't cost him more than one game.
Right.
When you're turning over the ball 2 to 4, that's literally what they have crucified Dak for last season.
It's true.
So it is only a moment of time before that starts to actually cost them games. And if you need proof of that, look at Brock Purdy, where all of a sudden, not only is that defense not doing exactly what they need to do, but if he's going to turn over the ball that many times, it's very hard to win when you turn over the ball that much.
Yeah, sure. And you look at the Cowboys have been inconsistent at times. So you see that the Buffalo Bills inconsistent, Miami inconsistent. So it's very much a toss-up right now in the NFL on both sides of the conferences. And I think that's a fantastic thing going into almost the midweek point of, or the midpoint of the season, that we don't know who the world beater is just yet. And that's going to make these next, 9 to 10 weeks a lot of fun to see how it all shakes out as we go into the playoffs. And the playoffs are going to show us a whole new world as well about who's actually ready to win a Super Bowl and who isn't. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see for sure. We got lots to talk about in this show. As I mentioned, NFL stuff, MLB stuff, and certainly that big James Harden trade. But Winston, we got to start with these NFL trade deadline moves. I don't know if you've heard some of this stuff, but it's come over the wire here. The big one I saw here is Joshua Dobbs. Josh Dobbs has been traded from the Cardinals to the Vikings to replace Kirk Cousins, who of course had that Achilles heel injury. He tore it, so he is out for the season. Josh Dobbs, who's been doing serviceable work for the Cardinals for sure, now sliding into an interesting situation with these Vikings.
Bro.
The Cardinals, does this mean Kyler Murray is on his way back? What does this mean for the Cardinals? Have they given up on the season? And the other side of this, they were looking at Jameis Winston. The Vikings, as of last night, were kicking the tires on Jameis Winston, and they went with Joshua Dobbs instead. What are your thoughts on this trade?
I would have gone with Winston, and no pun intended. And it's mainly because, yes, Jameis has had his issues with his interceptions and whatnot over his career, but there's a reason why Josh Dobbs has remained a backup. He hasn't shown me signs of Geno Smith and what he has been able to produce in Seattle.
Yep.
Again, it must sound like maybe they are, looking at Kyler being back sooner than because it was tossed up that he might be back this week.
Yeah.
But I think the Cardinals probably, they're like, look, our record's bad enough. Whatever. If we pull this out the rest of the season, then cool. And if we don't,
right.
I'm assuming they traded Jobs for what? Just for a sixth
round pick.
And a conditional seventh. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's fine and all. It makes me wonder if maybe the Vikings realize without Kirk we can't do this, and they're giving up because you still have a hurt Justin Jefferson.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you're getting something that's serviceable, and if you can make it happen, but a torn Achilles, and especially this late, because what Aaron Rodgers is doing doesn't make any sense.
Right.
That's a wrap on Kirk Cousins for the season.
Yeah,
and that's in theory a wrap on the Vikings. So I don't know. I think that this is a. I'm not even trying to be a hater on Josh Dobbs, but there's nothing that he's shown where it's like, he can do it. He can get you there. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a weird trade for them because Dobbs has shown flashes of being able to do great stuff. Mm-hmm. Do they have the right pieces to be able to minimize some of his interception mistakes, some of his underthrows? And is the defense strong enough? Does this maybe get them to coast into a 500 section here, or maybe a 9-8, or maybe even, God forbid, a 10-7, and slide into a wild card? I don't know, but Cousins is such a huge loss. You were singing the praises of Kirk Cousins last week, second-ranked quarterback in the NFL, for God's sakes. That's insane to think about, and it's a massive loss. And he's about to go into, free agency, so you don't know what you're going to get with a 35-year-old quarterback with a Achilles heel injury going into free agency, for God's sake.
It's wild too, because looking at Kirk Cousins, that whole sequence
kind
of crazy, because you saw him trying to figure the play out. You see him, you see his leg just go whew, and he just and you see him go ha, and he tried to run through it, and he took 2 steps till because they show it in slow-mo. He goes ha, then he goes no, and he just goes down, and I was like, ooh, I've been there, in the different injury, but where you try and power through for half a second, you go, nope, we're done. That's a wrap. He had that Mamba mentality for literally a nanosecond.
Oh yeah,
and then it just drained out of his face, man. So I do feel bad. I don't, unless somebody is a shitty human, you know what I'm saying?
Right, of course.
I don't
Aaron
relish
Rodgers, right?
Somebody, yeah. But look, regardless of how I feel about that, you know what I'm saying? You don't like to see someone go out like that.
No, of course not.
You would prefer that they go out if they're gonna go out, it's you lost. You know what I'm saying? At least they had a chance.
Right. Well, the Vikings are 7th in the conference right now. So who knows what it could lead to? Because above them are the Falcons, who are certainly erratic as hell as well. And they've got the Falcons next week at Atlanta. Then they're at the Bengals, the Lions, the Packers, and the Lions. So look, this is very possible for them to squeak out a 10-7 year behind Josh Dobbs if he can limit the turnovers and figure out this system. And I imagine they didn't bring him over because he's not familiar with the system in some way. So this is going to be real curious to see. The other trade we got to talk about, dude, is Montez Sweat from my Washington Commanders has been traded to the Chicago Bears. At least it's for a 2nd-round pick. But I knew one of them. I spoke about this last week, Winston. I knew one or the other one, Chase Young or Montez, was going to go. It is Montez going to the Bears. I don't know why you go from one dumpster fire with at least some possibility to an even worse dumpster fire in Chicago. Why you would allow this to happen, why Montez is okay with this. But I guess playing for Chicago, a story team, makes sense. Maybe this shit's going bad for him in Washington. They weren't going to re-up him, and so he goes here. But this is tough. I wonder if they had beaten the Eagles, if this trade even happens. What are your thoughts here for this one?
You know, I don't understand that one per se. Maybe it's for you trying to dump some contracts.
That's all it is. Dumping salary.
For Chicago, how does that help? You're not winning shit this season. So what how does that help? I don't they seem like the worst team to do this with, unless Montez is like, yeah, the contract's up, but I'm from Chicago, baby. I'm trying to play at home, and he's just like, I'm ready for the next contract here. Like other than that, it literally doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean, right now Chicago is the worst pass rushing team in the NFL, and they just allowed Jalen Johnson, their cornerback, to ask for a trade. So to me, this doesn't make sense on so many levels. And Montez Sweat, 35.5 sacks over 5 seasons. That's pretty good. So they get a good defensive end here, but what's it going to lead to in the long run? I don't know, because Chicago doesn't look like they're going anywhere. But this is a smart move by the Commanders, because clearly they weren't going to pay him, and they didn't want to take a lesser pick for him if that's how it all went down. So I guess a second-round pick, which is right now the 35th pick in the draft, is not bad for them. So we'll see what happens in the long run for that situation. And, we'll be tracking these updates as we go along here through the day because of what's happening here with the deadline. Looks like T. Higgins is not going to go from Cincinnati, so they're going to stay. He's going to stay there. Daniel Hunter looks to be staying for the Vikings as well. And the Cowboys saying they're staying put. Do you believe this? Jerry Jones said this. They're staying put. They like what they've got. A great victory against the Rams. Do you think this is a little bit of fool's gold? They should go try to get somebody on the defensive side of things, or what do you think is happening here?
I mean, I'll be honest with you. Don't leverage the farm. So if you're talking about losing like key pieces, don't do it.
Yeah.
I think that if there was any truth to the Titans looking at maybe getting rid of Henry.
Oh yeah, Derrick Henry.
Bro, because I think the truth is, I think Pollard is a fantastic running back, but I think it's already been proven at this point. My guy ain't the every down guy. He sprawls like without being a dick. He's like, because there's nothing dickish about it. Like the way Darren Sproles worked, he didn't work super well as an every down pounded out back. He could do some of the physical stuff. It's that scat back, throw in a mix type situation. So you kind of need the bruiser to be able to get you the short yardage. You need that to like take that and let him have that energy to have those explosive plays, out of a screen, out of like, putting him in the slot, something like that. You know what I mean? I just, that is my only concern, because I look at this game against the Rams and we had everything except for good run play, in my opinion. Like it was okay, but Pollard has already kind of proven that, like, I don't think he can be the Alvin Kamara every down type back, or he's always been good, but he's not showing those Kamara McCaffrey numbers that they thought he might be able to do now that he's the solo dolo.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to ask you one more question before we move on to the games here, but I'll remind you, everybody, hey, this is the Game Time Sports Network. This is the Game Time show. This is the flagship show on the network. I remind you all to please subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that bell button. Leave your comments down below as well. And the Streamlabs are open, so send in your support. Send in your questions, thoughts, and comments, and we'll read them. It's right there above our heads. It's also pinned in the chat and description of the video. I got to ask you about this. Last night, the Lions beat the Las Vegas Raiders. Devontae Adams had one catch for 11 yards, bruh. Let's take a look at him on the sideline. Look at the anger here from Devontae Adams, the frustration he must feel playing here. And if you can read lips, what he's saying is,
this is mother
fucking bullshit.
This is ma effing b. Yeah, no, he was not pissed. And
do you think they move him on today?
If he clearly doesn't want to be there, I mean, he was only there for Carr.
Yeah, right. And Carr's gone.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like I would potentially um I would potentially do that. I
Okay.
would potentially get him out of there, see what you can get for him, all that kind of stuff, because
Yeah.
it's clearly not working for him right now.
I agree. We're going to see what happens with him, and we'll monitor this as we go along. Jaguars right now trading for former Vikings second round pick Ezra Cleveland. There per the rap sheet. So nice. I don't know, lineman, unless you're really, really impactful, I don't really talk about it. So let's move on here. And as I said, send in your Streamlabs and Streamlabs, no super chat, Streamlabs as we go along here, and I'll bring them up and read them as we go along as well. Let's get to the first game here. You mentioned it early. Brock Purdy, the Bengals defeated the 49ers here 31-17. Joe Shiesty, Joe Cool is back. I think this game 100% confirms that he is back to his normal level of play here, maybe recovered from the injury, maybe not fully, because no one ever fully recovers in the NFL from an injury, but certainly enough to be playing a fantastic game here. This was pretty much a whooping from beginning to end. The Bengals seem to have the 49ers numbers on both sides of the ball here. And Joe Shiesty, he threw for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Brock Purdy, 365 yards, but 1 touchdown and 2 back-breaking interceptions for sure. Jamar Chase got himself 100 yards receiving. Kittle had 449 yards, and Ayuk had 109 yards receiving. McCaffrey had 2 touchdowns running and receiving, but it still wasn't enough here. What's your takeaway here? The Bengals 4-3 now. The 49ers third loss in a row. What are you thinking about both of these teams coming out of this game? And we should say Brock Purdy had just been cleared from a concussion and might have affected him in this game. But what are your thoughts here?
I mean, I think the first one is, at what point are we going to stop doubting the Bengals? They literally, the only way I can describe them at this point is they're essentially, they kind of remind me of that old clunker like manual car that has a ridiculous engine, but they're not old as a team, obviously.
Right.
But the way that they kind of get revved up, but like that's the thing, is they may have slow acceleration, but their top speed is better than virtually everybody.
Yeah,
and that's essentially what's happening here, is that because of that calf injury and what is just the kind of their standard MO, they looked like boo-boo trash starting the season out. And now, in my opinion, even with the Ravens doing well the last couple of games, it looks like this is their division to lose again. The way that they played, and the way that they played against what is considered one of the vaunted teams.
In their home in San Francisco.
I just, the other thing I will say though is that I think it's too early to say the jig is up on Brock Purdy. Like that's kind of a wild thing to say. But I do think, the best thing that was said was Keyshawn was like, he's not a pumpkin, but he is like, parts of him are starting to revert from that carriage a little bit into a little baby pumpkin. Like it's slowly starting to, the one you put out on your porch, that doesn't go bad quite as quickly. Now, Brock, I think will still have a good career.
Yes, I think he'll bounce back. Yeah,
but I think all MVP conversation, that's done. That's a wrap.
Oh,
not
100%.
This season. That's done. And it's what a number of people have said. He technically, I regret that I slowly got off of that bandwagon of like, bro, come on, please. Because I was so hesitant, bro.
Yeah, you were. I know. I remember.
Hesitant. And then I finally bit. And the minute I bit, that's my own goddamn fault, bro. You got to stick to your guns. He hasn't had a full rookie campaign technically.
We're getting to 17 games here very quickly for him. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And that's the thing. And we're getting to see what that looks like. And my guy he's got a lot to learn.
Yeah. You're right. You're right about that, Winston. I mean, that's the thing. Once defensive coordinators have enough tape on you, especially like Lou over there at Cincinnati, who was an incredible defensive coordinator. Once they have the tape on you, they know exactly how to short circuit you. Look, that DC has short circuited Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. The list of incredible quarterbacks that have been short circuited by that Cincinnati Bengals defense is long. I mean, they almost had those Rams, Matt Stafford and those Rams in the Super Bowl, for God's sake. So, you've got to be a veteran quarterback to be able to overcome some of those schemes. And I think Brock Purdy, Of course, I think the concussion after effects, you can't ignore that. I think maybe they cleared him too early, but also he was making some passes into some places that he shouldn't have been throwing that ball in ways that he didn't do before. He still threw for a lot of yardage here, still got 100 plus yards for Ayuk, 100 plus yards for Kittle. So certainly he was finding places all over the field, but there were some turnovers here that cost him in the end. But my question, and I'm not going to deny that, Purdy did not have a good game. 3 games in a row now has not looked good, but that defense is a little concerning as well and deserves criticism as well because they're allowing 20 plus points to these lower level teams, except for the Bengals on this 3-game skid. And that concerns me about the defense overall. Are they starting to feel the effects of having to constantly be knocking motherfuckers out? And they're regressing a little bit over the last 3 weeks.
What's wild to me is that there were 2 bad lapses, but 2 lapses by the Cowboys defense. But like it happened, and then they said, "Hey," and they snapped out of it and bounced back. For the Niners to go 3 games in a row where their defense was not doing what they're supposed to do, because you could make the argument, well, you still held Cleveland to 19 points, but you held PJ Walker to 19 points. Not that Deshaun has been good. He hasn't been. He's supposedly for this contract, he was supposed to be balling out. But you know what I'm saying? You're not talking about somebody that has been known as like a perennial starter in the league. He has been known as a backup for a long time. So like to do that is not great. Also, only having 5 sacks for a defense this dominant with a Nick Bosa and all that I understand maybe him not getting no sacks last game. That's a white quarterback, but you had 2 black quarterbacks you could have been just like trying to stuff, and you couldn't do that shit. You couldn't figure your shit out. Like, you know what I'm saying? but then also, again, I still circle back. Like, for somebody that didn't turn the ball over, for Brock Purdy to have 5 interceptions in 3 games. Like,
it's not good.
That's bad. And like, the funny thing is, because we'll talk about Jalen and Patrick Mahomes in a minute too, because like all of your quote unquote MVPs are leading the leagues in turnovers right now. Patrick Mahomes looked terrible this game. And I know
I can't wait to talk about it.
I know you want to get in Sean's ass about this because I can't even defend what the Chiefs just did. Like I
got Costco size level of a knife and a fork to carve up Patrick Mahomes in just a second for sure. Sean Brennan, you better put on medieval armor because I'm about to come out for your quarterback. Patrick
Mahomes look like a $5 chicken from Costco, bro. And the amount of just feasting you're about to do.
Man, that chicken lasts me for days. I love that Costco chicken. But Sean, look, I'll give you credit. If he perfectly gets the credit when they win, you can't turn around and blame the D when they lose. He's picked. Yes. But it was both. It was the picks and the defense. I'm just saying it wasn't just Purdy blowing the game.
What made the 49ers good? It was not Brock Purdy. It was not Deebo Samuel. It was not Christian McCaffrey. It was not Nick Bosa. It was all of it. They were the most well-rounded team in football. That's why everybody was saying they were the best team in football. And the skid has been a full collapse by everybody. The injury to Deebo and losing Trent, which apparently had
Trent Williams,
had more of a thing that we ended up seeing. The defense has not been as hard hitting and dominant as they're used to being. Apparently the play calling is bad. People getting in the ass of being like, why are you zero blitzing at times that don't make any sense? And then Brock Purdy's play, which had been relatively flawless, is all of a sudden become a liability. So like you put all that together and you went from ain't nobody stopping the Niners to this is the 49ers.
So exactly. It's a fair point. All right, let's move on to the next game here as we jump into stuff here. Let's move on to what do we got here? Your Cowboys? Yes, your Cowboys are next. Dak Prescott here threw 4 touchdowns. Bland got himself the 3rd pick 6 of the season. By the way, he is leading right now in pick 6s over the last few years. Incredible stuff here. And the Cowboys routed these Rams in Dallas, 43-20. This was an utter destruction. Coming off the bye week, coming off some disappointing games here, the Cowboys restate their claim to get into this Super Bowl. What are your thoughts coming out? We touched a little bit on Dak Prescott's play, but what's your overall thoughts coming out of this game? 304 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. CeeDee Lamb who single-handedly won my fantasy league this week, 158 yards and 2 touchdowns, really showed up as well. What are your thoughts on this one, man?
So I have so much. I have so much that I'm feeling at the same time.
Okay.
I'm not super excited about Dak, and it's not because I wasn't proud of what he did and all that kind of stuff. It's that I've kind of expected this play out of him. He's shown the talent to do it. So it's just like when this guy shows up, I just want him to stick around. That's it. And I think he no, I'm serious. And I think he truly can. Anybody that wants to sit here and be like, well, the Rams aren't good. I understand that they're below 500, but we've watched what Aaron Donald is still capable of doing.
Yeah.
We all of a sudden have put Nakua on the same level of, if not, like, people don't know if Nakua is better than Cooper Kupp or not. Like, which one of these two? And to have those dual weapons, you would think, oh, okay, let's go. It's not like Stafford hurt that thumb immediately.
Right.
It immediately was go down, get just a field goal, and then on the next possession threw a pick six. So it's like, like Stafford was there for the whole first half of the game to do something. He didn't do shit. So, you know what I mean? So there's that. If anybody was ever doubting that CeeDee Lamb as a number one receiver, you can kiss my ass at this point. He just abused the Rams. He abused them. I said before, I love Tony Pollard. I just don't think he's the bell cow guy. I think that he is the explosive other option, or if you're splitting it 50-50 with another back, if there was another back that can kind of help, like in the way you would see, I know Fournette just got traded to got signed to, where did Fournette get signed? Was it the Vikings? I think it was the Vikings.
Yeah.
It might have been the Vikings, but either way,
the Bills signed him to the practice squad. Yeah.
Oh, they signed him to the practice squad. He's just probably a little older. But you know what I'm saying? If you just had like a big dude that like the problem with Elliott is Elliott was getting like 2.5 per carry. You need like a big dude that can like muscle out like a solid 4.5 to 5, preferably 5 and up. And then like have Pollard do the big crazy plays. All that being said, like when they are playing at full clip, this is what the Cowboys are supposed to be doing. And I think that our true X factor, and this is wild to say, but I think the true X factor is actually Turpin. And I think
interesting.
The proof of that is, did you watch his return that was called back on a bad hold, right?
Yep.
It wasn't even necessarily a hold that like was egregious, and it's the only reason he essentially ran that back for a touchdown, or like at the 10-yard line. It was bad enough that it could be called. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the way he was like, hey, you over here, like he literally, while sprinting and juking, he'd be like, yo, get number 32. Yo, and I was watching it happen in real time. I was like, dude, this dude's vision and to be able to command someone to, like, that's crazy. That's the kind of shit that you see when you're watching like tower defense stuff and like in esports or whatever. To be able to call that shit out is incredible. And I honestly think that this kid will have a crazy linchpin play in big games that are going to be important. Now, mind you, we still need a team that's considered in the upper echelon win to fully give me full faith, but it doesn't mean the talent is not there. And I honestly think whatever happens this weekend would be a good determining factor of what's going to happen. We obviously play the Eagles twice, but I think playing it in Philly says something. I think considering this point in the season, with the Eagles being relatively the most consistent as far as teams go, considering they've only got the one loss on the year, and you know how they're pulling these games off. So this would be a very good, they probably got the sauce now, like they can do this. But again, I'm not like, I see people being like, you're about to set yourself up for failure again. No, because I have no expectations at this point, except that I expect the Cowboys to actually be good when it's time. If they go off and they're in a knockout, drag out game that's like 28-24 that we just end up losing in the fourth quarter. And there have been picks all over the place by our defense. And Dak has scored where he needed to score, but you're just playing a team like the Niners at their best. And you just, you just couldn't get there.
Yeah.
I would be upset, but I could live with that. I get upset with them when they do not live up to their potential.
Right.
And it's moments like this that are showing what that potential is.
Yeah.
So let's see them get to the other side.
Fair point. One Streamlab before we go to a break here. Fredtastic 314 says, "Sup, game time. This NFL season is turning out like most seasons where we jump from bandwagon to bandwagon on who is the best team. My Cowboys look like world beaters since San Francisco. Shake my head. No moves to improve means one and done again. So go Rangers." Oh, there you go, Winston. Little thoughts there from Fredtastic.
I appreciate it, Fredtastic, man. I really, really do. Let's get her done. We'll talk about the injuries because I'm a little concerned. Honestly, cool, you got the win, but it's kind of like that with like a series. You got the momentum there, but at what cost? If Garcia's out for a while, if our pitcher's out for a while, I am very concerned because we need both of them to close this out. But we'll see. Yeah, man. The truth is, again, like I said, there is legitimately no great team in football this year. There's not. There's not a single one has proven, because even if you were like, cool, the Chiefs had a bad loss, but they kept winning. It's like, barely. Patrick Mahomes has been, he's got 8 turnovers. He is tied, until Jimmy Garoppolo fucked up last night. He was tied with both Josh Allen and who was the other? I had it up here for a second here. Let's pull it back. So he had tied with Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts for the most interceptions.
Yeah.
And barely squeaking out games. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Barely squeaking it out. And so with none of these quarterbacks playing up to their full potential, you're not going, now that this has become such a pass heavy league, you're not going to see a dominant team, because what made the Chiefs that good is Patrick Mahomes could not be touched. And now he's getting a couple of these. Hey. So all I know is the Chiefs better match whatever Taylor's making for these concerts and issuing refunds for tickets in South America, because they need Taylor back immediately, apparently.
That's true. Get off the Eras tour and come back. All right, well, let's take a quick break, and we'll jump into some more of the games here as we keep going with game time, and send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. Thanks so much to Fredtastic. We'll be right back right after this. All right, let's get into it, Winston. The next game we're going to talk about here is the Chiefs getting upset by these Broncos, who all of a sudden look good. 24-9. They did not allow Patrick Mahomes to throw a touchdown in this game. I cannot recall a game I've seen where Patrick Mahomes has not at least thrown or ran in for a touchdown. He only threw for 241 yards, 24 of 38, 2 interceptions. Nobody running wise did anything of any note, and nobody receiving wise got above 60 yards. And that includes Mr. Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce himself. On the other side, Russell only threw for 114 yards, which is crazy, but threw for 3 touchdowns in those 114 yards. Judy got himself a touchdown. Cortland Sutton got a touchdown in all of this. So I imagine they're not going to be traded now. There are rumors they're going to be traded. But coming away from this game, is this say more about the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes maybe overlooking the Broncos here, thinking this was going to be an easy one? Of course, we have to say Mahomes was suffering the effects of the flu. Where would he have gotten the flu from? Did anybody have the flu in the box? Gave it to Travis Kelce, and Kelce gave it to Mahomes and his family. I got questions. Brittany was out there doing all those handshakes with Taylor. Maybe Taylor was sick, gave it to Brittany, who gave it to Patrick, and here we have in this situation. I'm just kidding. But what is going on here?
Taylor Swift doesn't get sick.
Of course she doesn't.
Taylor Swift is God. She is out here
in these streets,
running the world. She doesn't have time to get sick. No,
What do we do with these? What's your thoughts on both of these teams coming out of this game, bro?
There are two things here. I think that what we really saw out of the Broncos is that their weapon above all else is their defense.
Yeah.
They're not Russ is not good. Like 100.
Yeah, it's tough to watch Russ.
Cool. 114 yards, bro. Come on. That's not on top of the fact that you had 153 on the ground, but like I'm looking at this here, and Javonte Williams had 85 yards on 27 carries. That's not a I'm balling. That's bro, we struggling. That's 3.1. That's 3.1 as an average. Like, that's not good. So like, it's not that the Broncos did super well. Their defense was good. And it is what it is. And so I the big problem that Kansas City has, you are missing Bieniemy. It is that. As a
play caller, Eric Bieniemy. Yeah.
Bieniemy. That is clear.
Yeah,
you are missing him horribly.
Right.
And then the other thing that's really going on is that it is also clear that your only true offensive weapon is Kelsey.
Yeah, that's all they have.
Like that is not at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And I said that week one, and Sean was like, "Don't be coming from a team," but like. That was everything you needed to know about. Like, everyone thought, it was week one jitters. Like, now all of a sudden, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it is dangerous to only have this notion that you only need the one weapon and you can do it. You need at least 2 to 3.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. Because even looking at Tua and everything that Tyreek Hill is doing, you could still make the argument if the Dolphins get there. I still think it's Tyreek Hill that's the MVP because of the performance he's putting on.
Right.
But look at what he's got. He's got Hill. Tua's got Hill. Waddle, Mostert. When he's healthy, a Chain who was dominating at the running back position.
He was. Yes.
There's so many weapons there. San Francisco, McCaffrey. Yes, he is also having a potential MVP season, but McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Dak needed, CeeDee Lamb, Pollard when he's doing sort of well. Cooks is having some moments that are like, you have to have multiples. And who's up in Kansas City doing that other than Travis Kelce? Pacheco can't decide if he's going to be that back or not.
Sky Moore is dropping touchdown passes.
You can't drop that. You cannot drop that, bro. No. That's crazy.
Especially if your quarterback has the flu. You got to help your quarterback, for God's sakes, and catch that ball. Yeah.
Oh, no.
What? Oh. No. What do we got?
No.
Dude, oh, man.
The Commanders just traded Chase Young to the San Francisco 49ers.
No.
How are you? Are you okay?
Oh, no.
Now I'm just asking if you're okay.
Oh, no. Is this true? Wait, where is this at? I got to take a look at this. I'm going to go on Twitter.
Rounder, bro. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. The Commanders are trading Chase Young to the 49ers for likely a mid-round pick in 2024. Oh my God. So we traded them both. So essentially Magic Johnson, Josh Harris, the owners here of the Commanders have traded 2 of our best defenders. Oh my God. Well, the season's done now. And now we can forget the season, for God's sakes. Now we're tanking.
I mean, to be honest with you, it's not that you would tank, but I also don't think that you guys needed to try and go all in to get it. Well, what you gonna get, huh? Like even though there's a lot of
third-round pick,
even though there's a lot of parity in the NFC, look at the records of the people that are actually in the playoff mix right now. Y'all are gonna catch up on that. Like, if we're just being real, like you could go for it. Like, you don't ever want to just give up. But like, hold on, let me pull up the standings real quick.
Montez Sweat must be so fucking pissed because he's like, you trade Chase Young to a Super Bowl contender and you trade me to this garbage dump that is the Chicago Bears. He must be so pissed, man.
You could have you guys were 1 game back from there because you look at the Falcons and the Viking. Well, no, because the Falcons, that's a division leading. So it's like the Saints Falcons at 4 before you guys at 3-5. But like, if you weren't showing the true signs of life, man, then maybe you're just trying to do it. But like, dude, Jesus Christ, if Chase Young is healthy, Chase Young and Nick Bosa, are you fucking kidding me? All right. Well, if again they have to actually do it, and Brock Purdy has to not be trash, but like
Yeah.
if
Well, I
if
mean,
they,
didn't we just talked about how the defense was an issue for them? This is certainly an improvement, Winston, getting someone like Chase Young, who's back from injury. He was looking like he was regaining his form game by game. So great move by the 49ers. I don't know how we only got a third round pick for a guy like this. Is kind of insane. Clearly, this is a salary dump. Both of these guys, a salary dump. I don't think we're taking on any of their salary. This is a full on salary dump with Montez and Chase. So clearly they want to go in another direction. This concerns me on so many levels because Danny at least paid these motherfuckers. Josh and Magic and all the other people involved seem to be okay with these trades. I don't know what this is leading to in the long run, but damn, it sucks because now we're back to being a team that's going to get run on and passed on. And Howell is certainly going to be finding himself on his back more and more because we're not even trading for great O linemen that can provide Sam some cover here. We're trading away some really strong players on our defense. And I don't know what pressure we're going to get on the quarterback now. Our secondary hasn't been great all year. So now it makes it even more of a dangerous situation for our secondary. Going to get bombed like Pearl Harbor, so to speak. Anyway, man, this is the worst. This sucks. God damn it. This sucks. That's what I'll say.
oh man.
Wow.
Anyway,
the Chiefs blew it. Anyway, whatever. The Chiefs blew it.
That's the only way you can feel better. That's the only way you can feel better. Wow, dude. Wow.
I think you're right, Winston. Let's go back to the game. I think you're 100% right. I think the Chiefs are getting found out every week here. They have limited weapons on offense, and this is an issue for them. And I think they'll get in the playoffs. I think they even might win their division. Maybe they'll win one game, but this isn't like last year. We had some extra weapons roaming around. Players were stepping up to help Mahomes. They were meeting the goals here. It feels to me like, and Bieniemy was their offensive coordinator. I think that's a great point you bring up, Winston. So all these things combined, yes, this is a team that will still win games, probably get in the playoffs, maybe win one, but I can't imagine them threatening for a Super Bowl again. There's issues on both sides of the ball, and I think that's going to eventually come back to bite them in the ass in the long run. So we will see.
The other thing that I didn't realize, not to backpedal on the 49ers, but like because now I'm on Twitter trying to see if Schefter is reporting anything else. Shout out to MK Songbird who tagged us in a video. I didn't really watch the Niners Bengals game. So you mentioned obviously that Purdy was in the concussion protocol last week.
Yes.
What we got tagged in is a video of here. I can actually play it. I
got it. I'll bring it up here. Yeah. Like let's take a look at this one.
Probably got reconcussed here. Like, look at this, and boom. Wow. He definitely needs to go to the jiu-jitsu school that Tua is a part of because that looks like 2 weeks of headshots in a row that I really hope we don't end up seeing the same kind of seizure situation that we saw out of Tua last year.
I mean,
that's how that happens.
Right, you're right. And the fact that he grabbed his head that quickly, that tells you right there that he wasn't feeling good. It was not a good situation for him. So, yeah, we'll see what happens in the long run with him. That's a bad situation for a young quarterback, and maybe he can bounce back. Maybe the 49ers figure out, let somebody else play for a game to get Brock a little more straight. We shall see in the long run. But, yeah. All right, let's move on to our next game as I try to keep depression out of my head from losing all these defensive players. The Seahawks, we haven't talked about the Seahawks much, but we should definitely give them love here. Geno Smith threw a late touchdown pass to Jackson Smith-Njigba after mistakes by the Cleveland Browns head coach here, boneheaded mistakes here, and it led to a loss for the Cleveland Browns here, 24-20. This was a shocking game on so many levels here because the Browns look like they were turning some kind of corner here over the last few weeks, and I thought they were legitimately going to beat these Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. But then some massive mistakes here by their head coach here, not running out the ball, not doing what you need to do here when you're ending a game. And it led to the Seahawks driving down and scoring that touchdown. There might have been offensive holding on that receiver that allowed Najima to get open, but still, it was a little questionable how this all went down here with it. What do you take away from both of these teams from this game here, Winston?
I think the bigger thing in this situation is about the Seahawks. I don't necessarily think this is like some wild collapse from the Browns. It's not great.
Right.
But I think the idea is just that Seattle has proven that they have that sauce. They're very similar to the Cowboys, where like on a good day, like you look at all the weapons they have. Walker's an excellent back.
Yeah.
On only 8 carries, 66 yards.
Yeah.
You would love for him to get over that 100 marker, but for him to only have 8 carries and to get 66 yards, that's 8.3. Like with a Lockett and a Metcalf and Smith and Jimba, like who've got, I believe this was his first or second touchdown of his career.
Yeah.
Bobo out here stunting on fools, and then people call out Bobo. Like, bro, I just think it's there's a reason Pete Carroll has been around. And that's what's going on here. I think that the Seahawks are very similar to the Cowboys, where they've got all the sauce. Can they put it together to finish? So that's it. That's all. It's not that the Browns like all of a sudden regress. They did fine. Like they're still doing what they need to do. But yeah.
But the head coach on 3rd and 4 with 2 minutes left or 3rd and 3 with 2 minutes left should not be calling a screen. This is the pass. It bounces off and goes right to a Seattle Seahawks defender for an interception. And that is a ridiculous call on a situation.
Let me see.
Yeah.
So
it's 3rd and 3. Walker's here. He wings it. It bounces off the helmet and then right to a Seattle Seahawks player.
Well,
so I don't know why.
To me, that's less about like a screen situation. That's a bad pass.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
But why even put yourself in a position to throw the ball when it's 3rd and 3? I think you run it.
I mean,
run out more of the clock.
How many timeouts did they have left?
2. Seattle had 2 timeouts left.
Then
make them use one.
They probably should have made them use it. But it is what it is. If you think you have an opportunity to take advantage on that, I'm not going to fault something like that.
Yeah.
Though I will say it's not quite the same level here.
Okay.
But it is very funny that is essentially what happened to the Seahawks in the Super Bowl.
Oh, right.
Done in this regular season game. Why wouldn't you just run that real quick? Oh, you just threw an interception and gave the game back to the other team. Okay, sure, whatever. So, yeah.
Well, I hope the Browns bounce back. I've been kind of quietly cheering for them under PJ Walker, not under Deshaun. So we'll see how this all plays out. Haskell reminding us of the 49ers new defensive line. Nick Bosa, Chase Young, Javon Hargrave, Eric Armstead, Drake Jackson, Randy Gregory, and Javon Kinlaw. So that is a massive lineup. And we'll see. I mean, Chase gets prone to injuries. So if he stays healthy, could be an interesting situation for the 49ers. For sure. All right, let's move on to our last game here, man. It is the Philadelphia Eagles taking care of business against my Washington Commanders. It took them the entire game to finally beat us, but they did do it. They are at 38-31. They are now 7-1 on the season, and certainly a lock, or they have the inside lane for a home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. Jalen threw for 319 yards. As I said, 4 touchdowns. A.J. Brown, incredible. 8 catches for 130 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he has some kind of record now as the player who is caught 130 yards 5 games in a row. No other receiver has ever done that, and A.J. Brown has done that. Devontae Smith also had 99 yards receiving. On the other side, Jahan Dotson, 108 yards. Jameson Crowder, 95 yards, all of them on one drive, I think. McLaurin got a touchdown as well. Logan Thomas got a touchdown. Howell, this is crazy for me, and I got to talk to you about this. Sam Howell, 400 yards almost, 397 yards passing on 39 of 52, 4 touchdowns, but 1 interception and a fumble. So, and listen, he hasn't played 17 games either fully over last season and this season. So, do we have the makings of a good quarterback, or is this another mid-level kind of quarterback who is going to constantly lead you to a 9-8 or 10-7 season or 8-9 season? What are your thoughts coming out of this game for both the Eagles and the Commanders?
I would say that all I can say is we'll see, because what Howell is showing to me right now, because he does make big plays late in game.
He does.
He reminds me of Jalen Hurts.
Oh, interesting.
In the sense that
I'll take that.
Actually go look at Jalen Hurts and the start of his career. All the talent in the world, Really was kind of boo-boo trash for a minute. And then
I know people were thinking that they were going to trade him. I remember Winston. You're right. Yeah.
Light switch flipped last year. Something happened that got him to the point of, because he won MVP last year, didn't he?
Yes. Yeah.
Something happened where the light switch flipped and he ended up winning MVP. Now, mind you, he was surrounded by a great team. And that's the thing. You're not winning MVP really unless you have a great team around you.
Yeah,
there are
exceptions.
Yeah. There are exceptions to that rule. The Packers a couple years ago that got Aaron Rodgers his MVP, that was pretty much all Aaron Rodgers. That Packers team was not good.
Right.
There's an MVP year of Peyton that was clearly Peyton Manning willing people forward. But generally speaking, you have to have a good team to get MVP. But that doesn't matter. Jalen turned the corner.
Yeah.
He's regressed. He finished second behind Mahomes.
Oh, was it Mahomes MVP last year again?
Was he? Wow. I thought it was Jalen. My fault.
He should have won MVP.
2022.
Mahomes again.
Sir, shut up. Patrick did it with one weapon. That is correct. And then he won the Super Bowl. That is
one weapon being paid refs. But yes, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
If they're playing bad, I'm gonna be on your side. I'm not gonna let you sit there just out here.
I know.
You ain't got a defense, bitch. They all gone. All right. How about that?
How about that?
You just got them all. They all gone. They gone.
The enemy re-signed with the Chiefs just now. No, I'm joking. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
but again, the truth is, I think Howell has that potential. We just got to see, because, like, truthfully, like, you can't be turning over the ball like that. Like that fumble right there is not good, though. That was the whole team.
Which one? You talking about the tush push? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, where he fumbled that. Can't do that. Which is funny, because then that makes it be like, everybody thinks that this thing is invincible. It's like you just have to be an expert at it.
Yeah.
Are you going to?
You have to be a division rival. That's what you have to be. There it is. Fumble. Yeah.
I wasn't talking about Jalen. I was saying Sam's fumble, but I'm saying, like,
you know what? Leave Sam alone, for God's sakes.
Anyway, the enemy traded to Cowboys for McCarthy. Even that's funny. So
that's where he belongs, McCarthy, as a coordinator, not as a head coach. That's for damn sure. But there it is. 6 straight games. AJ Brown with 125 yards. No other receiver has ever done that in the history of the NFL. That's pretty incredible. Nice. And AJ was balling, man. It's incredible to watch him as a receiver for sure. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with the Commanders now with all these trades and with Howell. I mean, I like Howell because he's got moxie, but he makes some boneheaded decisions, man. The thing that they can't seem to coach out of him, and you might be right in comparing him to Jalen Hurts here, Winston, is he will go for the receiver that is 10 yards further down the field in triple or double coverage over the receiver that is wide open 5 yards down the field. It is so frustrating to watch these patterns of his, and they almost always lead to interceptions or overthrows or knockdown balls, or he underthrows, and it becomes so frustrating. So 400 yards, it's great, but he's still learning. You're right. It's just frustrating.
He's learning, man, and I think you got to give him the grace to do that, on top of the fact that apparently, like, with ownership changes, there's also the dismantling of your team.
Yeah, it's true.
So, like, just give the kid a chance.
I know. I'm trying to. And you can say that because you're a Cowboys fan. You want to enjoy us losing. So, yeah, I appreciate that.
I always want to enjoy you losing, but I'm saying, as your friend, just give him a chance.
As your friend, I'm telling you.
Who you want to go back to? What was the name of old boy last year?
Tanner Heineke, who played for the Falcons this weekend. That's right.
You want Heineke back? You want to give him a call? Tell him to come on back?
I do not want Heineke back. It's literally the same fucking player. It's literally the same player. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to jump into the rest of the NFL and get into this Harden trade as well, and some Rangers talk right after this. All right, Winston, we got a Streamlab that came through from Jorge Iniestra. Thank you, Jorge. He says, I've been saying this. Patty's been a turnover machine. He's talking about the Patrick Mahomes. He has a lot of almost interceptions. The Chiefs look like a first or second round out for sure. Until Casey gives respect to the native tribes, I hope they suffer. Wow. Belichick and Tampa Bay exposed Patrick Mahomes. Tank for Caleb for New England. Let's fucking go. There you go. Yeah. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
also, I don't think the Chiefs are suffering that hard. They have 2 Super Bowl wins in like the last 4 years.
Yeah, I know.
Three visits, multiple AFC championship. Like they'll be fine. Like I you
Yeah.
prove to me that they're not still going to make it to the AFC championship game. Yes, they have a problem. I don't think they can win the Super Bowl like this, but they'll probably go back to the AFC championship game. If we're just being honest, like they
No,
will probably still hold down home field. Like at
give
the
me a
very
one
least,
now.
at very least, so gets the 2 seed. Like I don't. You're just a hater, but like they'll be fine, bro. Ah.
I don't know. But also, listen, man, having the flu is not a reason to have a bad game. Michael Jordan had the flu and won that game again in the final. So I'm just saying the great ones win when they have the flu.
Stop it.
All right, let's move on.
Stop it. My God. Name somebody else that had, and it, first of all, it wasn't the flu. That was proven. It was
Yeah.
food poisoning. We're not doing this. You're not gonna sit here and rewrite history when history has been rewritten for us right in front of our eyes and admit, yes, it was poison. It was straight poison, bro.
That's even worse than trying to poison him. That's even worse.
But also, you know what I'm saying? You act like that's a normal thing that happens. And it's just like, yeah, you're great. So you're just gonna go out there. The only person that I know that's actually fighting the flu and handing fools their ass, and not just like a random team that you have a flu game on, bro. You're talking about the best player in the world. My man Dirk actually had the motherfucking flu, and then LeBron.
Nowitzki. Yeah.
Yeah. Then LeBron and Wade would be like, I got the black lung. Bitch dropped 40 piece on your ass in the finals. Get out my face.
I remember that. The only other person I can think of is the Outlaw. He had bronchitis and beat Bibiani and the kid. So that's what I remember. Anyway, moving on to the other games. Do that, Patrick.
Your ass talking about, the Godfather. Like, just so stupid.
Best actor. The Jaguars defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers here. The Jaguars look all of a sudden dangerous again. The Jaguars and the Bengals have found their mojo over the last few weeks here, man. They defeated Pittsburgh 20-10, regardless of what Deontay Johnson said. They were legitimately beat here. The Bills also beat the Buccaneers here 24-18 on Thursday night. The Dolphins beat the Patriots 31-17, quietly strong showing from them. Minnesota beat Green Bay, and as we said, sadly, Kirk Cousins tearing his Achilles, out for the year. The Jets outlasted the Giants in one of the most fun, terrible games to watch. I watched all of that on the four multi-view channel there, and it was so much fun to see. The Jets, are they quietly making a move here? If Zach Wilson takes them to playoff contention, does Aaron Rodgers take over? A lot of questions right now. The Titans beat Atlanta 28-23 over behind Will Levis. What a great debut for a quarterback there for the Titans. He will play on Thursday night now. Tannehill will not be recovered in time for the game on Thursday night. Carolina beat the Texans 15-13. Baltimore, the Ravens beat Arizona 31-24, the last Josh Dobbs game. Chargers beat the Bears 30-13, and the Lions last night beat the Raiders 26-14. The Lions also looking damn good in the NFC, even after that loss last week to the Ravens. What are your thoughts here, Winston? Now, in any of these games, what do you want to talk about?
I mean, it's just always funny when, like, what is considered the quote-unquote little brother, the redheaded stepchild of a city, ends up beating up on the big bro. And the fact that the Jets just it literally looked like the Peter Griffin chicken fight, watching the Jets and the Giants play each other. Anytime little bro gets one up, it's always an interesting story. When the Clippers started like being good with Blake Griffin, and then you got Chris Paul in there, and they beat the Lakers, people were like, and then anytime it's hard to tell between the Rams and the Chargers. The Chargers are the stepchild there. They've always been like good, but they for some reason can't get over. But like same thing if they were to play for the Battle of LA and all that kind of stuff. So it's just interesting here. I would have thought that the Giants, this would be the time for them to try and like plant their flag and be like, we will not go out into that night or that, you know what I mean? But they just blew it. They fully blew it. And that's interesting to me. And then keep an eye out for the Ravens. They are making it damn sure that I still think the Bengals look better than them at this point. However,
Mhm.
I think that that's a reminder you ain't taking this division without a fight, mother sucker. Like that's what I saw out of that. I'm curious what game you're most interested in, man.
Yeah, I want to talk about Will Levis. He looked fantastic for those Tennessee Titans yesterday, man. They may have just found their guy. They've been looking for someone to replace Tannehill for the last few years here, but Levis looks like their guy. I liked how he played here. Derrick Henry got himself 101 yards because Will was throwing the ball so well. DeAndre Hopkins got himself 3 touchdowns off 4 catches. That's a hell of a percentage, and got 128 yards receiving. So these Titans could be a real interesting, frisky team if Will Levis.
They're not going to do anything. But also, the Browns are trading wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Lions.
Wow, are they just acquiring 3?
Bro, it's a fire sale. Everybody just go.
Do the Lions just have a proclivity for 3 named receivers with Amon St. Brown? I mean, this is interesting now to have Donovan Peoples-Jones be a part of this. All right. I like the idea for them giving them more offense on that side of the ball for Jared Goff to throw to. So it's a smart move for them overall. But like I said, liking the Will Levis move, we'll see what happens with him. Jacksonville looks ready. And Miami looks good, but to me, it's just the sad part of Kirk Cousins tearing the Achilles. Don't know what happens with him overall. Those are my thoughts overall. I think the Titans may have found themselves a quarterback. Could be interesting to monitor this, but yeah.
I'll be honest with you. I have no sympathy for the Titans right now because not only will they not give the right, like the Texans should have been able to be the Oilers. There ain't no goddamn oil in Tennessee. That's stupid. And for them to like pull out throwbacks, all right, cool. But they're apparently running a lawsuit against the University of Houston, which just used a similar color scheme as a traditional nod to what was the professional team in Houston before. And they're suing them. I'm like, you know what? That's just fucking rude. And I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and only you. Like,
and on the other side of the ball, though, and Winston, I got you thought Desmond Ridder was benched at halftime. Taylor Heineke came in the second half and played for these Falcons, got 175 yards throwing there and threw a touchdown. But are we done with the Desmond Ridder experience in Atlanta, or is this the coach's fault in this whole situation? Because they have no idea how to use Bijan Robinson, and they have been kind of falling apart here. Even though they're 4-4, they have somehow miraculously won these games, and they seem to be a good team. But then you're benching your starting quarterback at halftime of a game against these Titans. What are your thoughts on these Falcons?
Why are the Atlanta Falcons turning into the new Cleveland Browns?
Ooh, that's a good comparison.
Like that they're becoming the organization that you get drafted to go see your career die. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like Kyle Pitts. Why is Kyle Pitts being so underutilized? And it's a situation where they're clearly not putting him in positions to go ball. That's insane. You could have literally seen the rebirth of a better Jimmy Graham, because Jimmy Graham was good for those few years, and then once he got traded, it just kind of fell apart. You really should have had a situation where they could have done some stuff. And to El Boogie saying the Falcons defense is low-key good, sure. And that's happened with Cleveland multiple times. Because of Myles Garrett leading that squad, that defense has remained good for a while. But then anybody on offense that goes there, their career goes to silently die.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing we're seeing out of Atlanta, bro. It's kind of wild. Like, Mariota wasn't like blow your mind good that everybody thought he would potentially be. But
right.
He was better than what he was when he got down there, and just dumpster fire.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Kyle Pitts, dumpster fire. Like you let Ridley go. I understand the whole gambling thing, but why would you do that? That don't make no damn sense. You wasted Julio's best years. What the fuck? Like,
who just got a touchdown over the weekend as well, Julio Jones. So just the
last thing I'll say, man. You want to talk about the Chiefs fucking up? I'll get one more side swipe real quick on Sean.
Ooh. Sure.
Why would you let D-Hop not go to Tennessee? You had all the opportunity to go get his ass, and you should have.
That would have been your Randy Moss, getting him right at the tail end of his career, still able to do it. That would have been a great pickup for the Chiefs to get a receiver like that. A reliable receiver like that would have been reborn.
D-Hop and Kelsey,
Oof.
Patrick Mahomes would be sitting undefeated. Well, it would have had to have been after because they weren't interested before the season. They would have been only looking at one loss. Nobody been worried about Patrick Mahomes with all these interceptions. You know what D-Hop would have done because he's wild? It would have been like, it's tipped. Oh, someone's about to intercept. D-Hop would have come out of nowhere like Sonic the Hedgehog, flying to there talking about, I got him. What has he done this year? A 4-touchdown game. I ain't seen no Travis Kelce 4-touchdown game. What the fuck are you talking about?
He's got more touchdowns than anybody on Atlanta's roster or on Kansas City's roster this side of fucking Kelce. So, I would have taken Hopkins in a heart. Sean is always like, any criticism is not warranted in Sean. The Kansas City Chiefs have never made one bad move in their entire fucking lives. They never blew anything. They never picked the wrong person. They never, they never went after the wrong people. It's ridiculous. Hopkins would have been fantastic on Kansas City. He's a reliable receiver who can still do it. This isn't fucking Julio Jones, for God's sakes, who's right at the end of his career. This is D-Hop. He would have been fantastic.
I want to check a couple things. I want to take a look real quick. Like you can go ahead. I want to look at some of the leaders in receiving this year, because I'm very curious to see if he's actually been out here in these streets, like not at like an AJ Brown level, but at a why didn't you go and get goddamn DeAndre?
He's better than Tony. He's better than Sky Moore. He's better than Scantling. He's better than any of these guys. McCole Hardman. Yeah.
He's the number 21 receiver in yards. He is only 79 yards behind Kelce. Okay. And that's on 31 receptions instead of what he has at 54.
But we didn't need him in Kansas City. We didn't.
Touchdown behind Travis Kelce. Kelce's sitting at 4, D-Hop sitting at 3 that he got in this past game. I can't believe you would fix your mouth to say something like that when he's out here in these streets still balling, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. You tell you what, D-Hop ain't dropping that ball that Sky Moore dropped. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm trying to tell your ass.
For all those drops Tony had against the Lions, D-Hop is catching all those balls.
On top of that, Jeremy Miller called it too. When you got Tannehill thrown to you, of course his ass ain't been doing a lot this season.
That's true.
You don't hand him right over to Patrick Mahomes. You don't think Patrick Mahomes would have been like, bro, I'm not even going to look. And D-Hop would be like, I got you, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Look, I know everybody was liking Malik Willis out of Tennessee, but look, if Will Levis can do this over the next few games with Hopkins, they're good God Almighty. Titans could be real interesting because Vrabel knows how to coach that defense, so it could be a lot of fun to see what happens. So.
You may be 6-2, but you're a 6-2 that people are like, are they 6-2? You had D-Hop after that first loss to the Lions. You would have been a dominating 7-1 because you keep telling us about how good that defense is. And for the most part, except this game against Denver, they have been pretty goddamn dominant. The one thing that's been on the mind is, why is Patrick Mahomes being kind of wishy-washy? What's happening? But again, he has one weapon. One weapon. Brady didn't win nothing when he just had Gronk. He at least had to have somebody else out there doing something. An Edelman, a law firm, and Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis. He needed some secondary thing to help bail. As good as Tom Brady, the GOAT is, he needed a second weapon. Who is the second weapon for Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, nobody. Nobody's a second weapon for Patrick Mahomes. And it's going to be interesting when they play the Dolphins here in London. That's going to be a hell of a fight. They have got a really, really tough schedule to end the year, man. They've got the Dolphins in London, as I said. They got the Eagles next week. They're at the Raiders. That's probably a victory. At the Packers, probably a victory. Then the Bills come into town. Then they're at the Patriots. Then they play the Raiders. Then the Bengals and the Chargers to end the year. So this is going to be an interesting stretch to see what the Kansas City Chiefs record is by the end of the season.
Hey, man,
for sure.
They better call Taylor and put some
I was going to say, Taylor ain't coming back anytime soon.
They need to call her and put some pads on her, bro. She might need to take over this game her damn self. Because I'll be honest with you, I believe that she could do it on top of that. I truly believe that Taylor Swift go out here and she would just ball out of control. And then all of a sudden, every team is sitting here after she throws for 600 yards and 10 touchdowns talking about, I knew you were trouble when you walked in. Like, bro, she was smoke them. And it's about time. She might need to get on the field because who you got other than Kelce? Other than her man. Let her step in and handle this because I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I agree with you, man. Nobody is scared. Look, Rashee Rice has certainly a good numbers in terms of catches and in terms of targets. but in the long run, he's not scaring anybody. Justin Watson, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Noah Gray, McCole Hardman, Jerick McKinnon, remember him? Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Blake Bell, Isaiah Pacheco. That ain't scaring nobody. Kelsey is the only one that scares anybody. And as the Broncos just showed you, if you can shut down Kelsey, you can beat the Chiefs. So that is a scary situation for Kansas City to be confronting. And those defenses just looked at this Broncos blueprint and are like, hey, maybe we can do that as well, especially the ones that are about to play. They're about to play. So we will see overall. Yeah.
I'm just laughing because Sean is getting all bent out of shape the way I did when the Cowboys were rolling and we didn't really have any losses and whatnot. Yeah. Everybody was like, but what like elite win do you have? What was super convincing? What had nobody scared? What had people like, the only one I could think of, even though the Falcons were a crappy team, if you're hanging up 52 points on a team, then like, okay. But even then, we just saw the Dolphins put up 50 to 20 or 70 to 20 on the Broncos, and then they turn around and shit the bed. So like, I just genuinely, I would love to see the Chiefs they get, like, the funny thing is, Sean forgets that the Chiefs at this point are the active dynasty. So there's a massive pass they automatically get until they actually get to the situation of being in the playoffs and getting bounced. They get a pass. But that also means because we expect such greatness out of them, you're going to shit on them a little bit if they're not looking like the way that they normally are. But nobody is shitting on them in the way of being like, well, they're going to completely fuck it up. I still think they'll make the AFC Championship. I said that before.
I know you did.
But
I know you did.
But at the same time, I don't see them winning the Super Bowl if this is how they're going to play.
You wait a minute. Look at Sean. He's like the Jaguars. We beat the Jaguars. Look, if you lost to the Lions in the first week and you're telling me that's it's because we were missing player and all this kind of shit, and then the next week you beat the Jags and you want to say, see, this is a triumphant victory. The Jags were not the Jags like they are now. They were still figuring it out. So you can't say, excuse the loss, but let's crow about the victory in the next breath. That makes no sense. And you only beat them by a fucking touchdown. So it's not like you were destroying them. You beat them by 8 fucking points, for God's sakes. The only big win you have is against the Bears, 41-10. You barely squeaked by the Jets. You barely beat the Vikings by 7. The Broncos you beat by a whopping 11 points against that shitty-ass defense that the Dolphins hung 70 on. And then you beat the Chargers at home because Justin Herbert cannot beat the Chiefs mentally. So, yes, you've got some victories that are good. But this is a shaky 6-2. This isn't a strong 6-2. So we'll see, though, as the season goes along. And Sean may have to shine up some of those excuses and pull them out again as we go along. But anyway, let's move on. We got one Streamlab that came through here from Sean Brennan himself. Sean says, all jokes aside, I love this show and the two of you. I think you've been spot on with the turnover problems with Mahomes this season, but you're both downplaying the defense. Not at all. I think the defense is great. Why is this more than a bad game when he was sick and played his best last week? Look, no, the defense, absolutely. It's been the reason the Chiefs have been hanging in these games. No doubt this is a top-level defense. They're helping Mahomes stay in these games. But Mahomes has been shaky on offense, and the defense can only take you so far. Go ahead, Wiz.
Absolutely. I mean, on top of the fact that the worst score against them has been 24 points. That says something,
right?
Now,
yes.
Defensively, I'll give them shit all day. Here's the thing. If I'm a Kansas City fan, I am not happy unless we make the Super Bowl, let alone win it. You have like in the way that with the Warriors, they were like when they're at their peak dynasty.
Oh yeah, right.
Michael Jordan and the Bulls.
Right. Finals are nothing.
The Patriots, like when they're in their peak dynasty, it is truly for them a minimum is the AFC Championship. The expectation is a Super Bowl, and the goal is winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Obviously, every team's goal is to win the Super Bowl, but you know what I'm saying? Like with realistic prospects, because you've done it before and you have the. So I get hard on the Chiefs because I expect them to be that team. They have proven that. So when they have never been this questionable. This has not been a thing that they do. So that's why they get the smoke like this. And it's the same reason why the Eagles kind of get that smoke and so do the Niners. When you have that much domination on a regular basis, you expect certain things out of that team.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, the Chiefs kept making it seem like adding big names that are known to be playmakers wasn't necessary this season, when it was something that they were a little concerned about last year. They made it happen.
Yeah.
But it was a concern. They said, nah, we're good. We'll double down.
Yeah.
That's fine. But that means you're really going to catch these words when it doesn't work out.
Yeah, that's 100% true. 100% true. All right, let's move on here. And thank you very much, Sean, for that streamline. We appreciate it. I hope and thanks for being a good sport whenever we're going back and forth. It's the best, because your team is great, and neither one of our teams has smelled a Super Bowl in decades. So, James, let's move on to the NBA as we're done with the NFL here. The NBA.
Keep me out of your blood feud. Why you got to swipe me? That's bullshit.
You brought it up. You said you wanted to bring it back up again.
Hater ass.
Let's move on to the big NBA news. That's James Harden. The trade is done. James Harden is now officially with the LA Clippers. The Sixers were able to get the trade. Daryl Morey over there, the GM for the Sixers, trading what was once his best friend and the greatest offensive player in the NBA at the time. He has sent the James Harden, PJ Tucker, and Philip Petrusev to the Clippers for Marcus Morris, Robert Covington, Nick Batum, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a 2029 pick swap, and an additional first-round pick from the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Clippers are sending a 2027 first-round pick swap to Oklahoma City, clearing the way for the Thunder to move a protected 2026 first-round pick to the Sixers. And the Clippers are sending a 2024 and a 2029 second-round pick to the Sixers in the deal as well. And the Sixers will waive veteran guard Danny Green to create roster space for all of this. The Sixers are bringing back expiring contracts. They keep them on track to save as much as $50 to $65 million in salary cap space next summer. Harden goes to pair with Kawhi, Paul George, and Russell Westbrook for the third time in his career after doing it with the Thunder, the Rockets, and now in LA. Your thoughts, Winston? What a massive trade.
All right. So this is the Clippers' future first-round picks. 2024, OKC owns that.
Yeah. Yes.
2025, swap with OKC. 2026, OKC owns that.
Yes.
2027, swap with OKC. 2028, Philly owns that. 2029, swap with Philly. Bro, they have also traded away 6 second rounds.
Yeah.
If the Clippers don't win it all, you have literally said, bro, you're not an anime fan, are you?
Not a fan, but I have knowledge of it, and I'm not against it. I like anime, so yeah, I'm not as knowledgeable like you are.
There is an anime known as Hunter x Hunter.
Okay,
it's considered one of the most popular ones in the last decade or so. Man, it's a great show.
Okay.
There is the main character at one point does not have enough power to beat this person that murdered one of his closest friends, right?
Wow. Okay.
So he makes a deal to be at his peak because he's a kid. He makes a deal to end up at his peak form, but in doing so, it essentially kills him.
Yeah.
Because he's the main character, spoiler alert, they end up finding a way to heal him, all that kind of stuff, whatever. But essentially, what the Clippers have gone, you know what? Fuck my life. I don't care. I want peak form right now. And if I don't get it in this one fight, I'm out. I don't give a fuck. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Bro, the names you have here, and mind you, with these names, this is a team that if you would put this team together in 2015, 16, it'd be an automatic chip because this looks like an all-star team.
Yeah, you're right. 2014, this is a team that go to the finals.
But
you're
this
right.
is too reminiscent of when the Lakers have tried to load up on Kobe Bryant, Steve Nash, Karl Malone. I think Gary Payton was there.
Dwight Howard. Oh, no, you're right. That Karl Malone, Gary Payton. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And you can do the same thing with the Dwight Howard one that happened later. I'm just saying, oof, boy.
Carl tried to get with Vanessa behind Kobe's back as well. So yeah, it was.
Speaking of Dwight Howard, real quick, there wasn't.
Don't get us canceled. Don't get us canceled.
I won't. I just think it's disgusting that with what is happening with it, because it sounds like, based off of what I am hearing, this is a money squeeze, that you have essentially then had somebody who has forcibly outed Dwight Howard.
Yeah,
and that to me is disgusting.
I don't disagree with you, bro. I mean, and I think Dwight answered the question correctly. Whatever happens in my home is my business. It is not your business, and I can go to bed with whoever I want in my house, and that is not your business. And I think he answered it correctly. Did it lead to some great memes and some fantastic TikTok animated videos? Yes, it did. But on the other side of things, I think it was unfortunate that Dwight has to deal with this. And look, Dwight hasn't always been the best guy. A lot of former teammates will tell you he's a bit of a prick, very, very conceited, very arrogant. So maybe there are people who would, how can I say this, wouldn't err on the side of human courtesy because of that situation. It doesn't validate it. It doesn't make it okay. So at the end of the day, it's just unfortunate, more so than anything else, because it is nobody's business what his sexual orientation may or may not be.
It's not. The thing about that sucks more than anything is that, and then instead of looking at it and having a situation of like, wow, that's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Yep. Did he ultimately win a chip with one of the teams?
No, he did not. Oh, no, he did with the Lakers in the COVID Lakers 2020. He was like a reserve player for them.
He won that chip, a multiple-time defensive player of the year. That's the type of situation where, like, if he ever does come out and all that on his own, that is one of the most celebrated moments possible. And now, instead, it is tainted with somebody who because based off of everything that I have heard from these reports. Now, if we find out that he's actually done this, then we're having a different conversation. He needs to answer for that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if we find out this is actually like a Kevin Spacey situation.
Right. That's a whole nother ballgame. Right,
different conversation. But everything that I'm hearing from these reports, this sounds like a cash grab. And that is so gross to out somebody like that.
I agree.
That is awful.
But social media is having a field day for this, and it's
because niggas ain't shit.
Oh wow! No, I ain't saying any of that or agreeing with any of that. Oh boy,
okay, uncomfortable.
You'll get me in trouble, man. I love the black people. Don't get so.
I love the black people. I hate you so much.
But to me, it's all crazy. Going back to the trade, because I think neither team is going to win out of this trade. I think the Clippers are going to be one and done. You bring another fucking temperamental player with Kawhi, with Paul George, with Russell Westbrook into the mix, and I think it's a bad combination, top to bottom. And I don't think Tyronn Lue is going to figure out how to make this work for LA. So I don't like that idea. The Sixers now, without Harden, it's great. And Maxi's been playing well. And certainly Joel Embiid is playing well. And Nick Nurse has got a good system in place. And they're set up here with some good money and cap space and some good draft picks. But will it be all over again? Trust the process all over again. And you're wasting Embiid's best years. We'll see. So if anyone's going to win, I think it'll be the Sixers.
I'll tell you this much.
I think it's a bad move all around.
You know what I don't trust at all? The motherfucking process. That's the weakest ass process. You know what the process honestly sounds like at this particular point?
What's that?
That just wasted all your good years. Just oh my God, bro. Like
I think you know what? I think Kevin Feige is telling us to trust the process now. I think even Feige's doing that with Marvel currently.
Oh my God! And then you're what? So who? The question is who's getting wasted? Are we talking about like what? Shang-Chi? Is
Shang-Chi?
Is Joel Embiid out here just being like, I'm just waiting?
It's funny you bring that up. It's funny you bring that up because Simu Liu just tweeted out that he tore his Achilles and now he's got to go under the knife. So it's funny you bring that up about who's going to get hurt in this situation because Simu Liu is out right now. He's on IR.
Oh my God! Is he going to Aaron Rodgers' guy? I heard he's pretty good. Wait, why is Aaron Donald fucking trending?
Here we go. Well, it's official. I'm going for Achilles surgery tomorrow. Veterans, drop your words of advice and encouragement. Oh man, sorry, Simu. Sending you the best. Well, what's going on?
It hasn't happened yet, but there is a rumor that Aaron Donald might be going to the fucking Eagles. And if it is, I'm just gonna jump out of my window.
Oh no! What?
There's a bunch of spikes on a fence here. If Aaron Donald ends up to the Eagles, I'm jumping out of my window.
What?
I genuinely am.
I don't see anything. I don't see anything online just yet. Oh my God. Somebody just tweeted out 2 hours ago, if Aaron Donald ends up in Philly, I'm done with football. There you go. Yeah, according to my sources, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, this is Tyler. This is another Seahawks fan 16 minutes ago tweeting this out. According to my sources, the Seattle Seahawks are acquiring Aaron Donald from the Rams in exchange for D. Eskridge and a third-round pick. But you're saying possibly the Eagles. Other people are saying the Dolphins might be trading for Aaron Donald as well. So good God.
So Howie Roseman is on the line with the Rams. Is on the line with the Rams trying to make it happen. Who knows if he gets moved either way? That's to either one is a massive problem for the rest of the NFC. If he goes to the Eagles, especially the week before we play them, I am jumping out of the fucking window. And if they end up in Seattle, in my opinion, would probably lock up the NFC West. I understand they just got Chase Young and all that. I understand that the Niners are trying to turn things around, but like they're already up a game right now. Seattle's playing pretty decent, but now all of a sudden you have given them a ridiculous pass rush to go along with it. Oh my God.
And just for context, on this game against the Cowboys over the weekend, Aaron Donald apparently ran up to Coach Mike McCarthy after the game and said, if you have a chance to come get me, come get me. So that'll stick the knife even deeper inside of you Dallas Cowboys fans because you didn't go get him. And if he goes to the Eagles, oh my God. And he feels like an Eagles player, Aaron Donald.
If we had Aaron Donald.
Micah.
And then oh my God. And then Lawrence, that would have been insane. My God. Like, that's some Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, Von Miller, go win a Super Bowl and just oh my God.
Yeah.
Don't fuck that
up. All right, well, let's finish out the show because I got to go handle some personal business on my side here in Northern California. Will the injuries that just got announced here for the Texas Rangers affect their World Series? They're 2-1 up right now on the Arizona Diamondbacks. But they've got some injuries here, especially to their star guy here. So what are your thoughts on this, Winston? Are you worried? Are you concerned? What are your feelings with all this heading into game 4 tonight or tomorrow night, I think? What do you think?
I mean,
tonight, sorry. Yeah.
I really hope that whatever was going on with Garcia, is not anything serious. He has been the full lifeblood of our offense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If we've lost him, that makes things really crazy. I don't need to relive going up in the World Series like this just to have it ripped asunder. And then losing our pitcher too. That's not great either. Like I love what our pitchers are able to do. And I know he got
Max Scherzer.
He took that shot to the back from the one hop. I saw the replay on that. I really hope it's nothing crazy, but God, dude.
I mean, Scherzer is 39 years old. They said they're going to know within 48 hours if he can return. Adolis Garcia had an MRI on his left side, and they haven't fully revealed what's going on with him. So, next man up, but those are two men that are very, very difficult to replace on those Texas Rangers for sure, dude.
It's a next man up, but you're not going to next man up if Steph's out. You know what I'm saying? Sure, Clay is also a killer shooter, but there is something uniquely special about Steph, and that's what we're seeing out of Garcia. Garcia is balling out of control.
Yeah.
And so losing him would be a massive loss because these games are too close. If we were winning, just destroying the D-backs, fine, but these are too close to be losing Garcia right now.
That's true. So we'll see what happens, and of course, it's going to be a fun game tonight. Whether people are watching or not, I know the ratings are down, but these are two really good teams, and they are fun to watch. And I'm glad they're in the finals. I would have liked to see the Phillies, but the fact that it's the Diamondbacks are a damn good team, and certainly they've taken one off the Rangers already. So it's going to be interesting to see if it'll be a tied-up series or the Rangers are up 3-1 after tonight. We shall see. All right, well, let's get on out of here. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us on this episode of Game Time. I had to cut it short a little bit because I got to run off and do some stuff. But Winston, thanks so much for coming on the show and, of course, doing it with me. Please let people know what you got going on, my man.
At the Swaggy Blur, just come find me on the socials. Obviously, I'll be over at Capes and Cows, so come check me out on Friday over in Christian Harloff's channel. I'll be back here next Tuesday, and that's pretty much it. Like other than that, man, I have some own personal stuff I got to handle today, so I'm good.
All right, always thinking of you, man, and sending you support, brother. You know I got much love for you, man.
You too,
thank you, man. As for me, at the Rocha says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, the Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Send out a positive thought today from the people involved in my life. Just can't reveal too much, but send out a positive thought. Would appreciate it from you all. And of course, remember that we've got stuff going on the Outlaw Nation channel. Go and subscribe there and hit the bell button there for you so you see what's going on there as well. All right, that's it from all of us. Thanks for the Streamlabs. We appreciate it. Thanks for the lively chat. We love you guys coming in every week, having some fun with us. It means the world. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Game Time. Peace.